I'm glad you brought that up.
If she was a stick of rock, that's what we'd say, in the middle of her.
Probably why I'm getting grey hairs already. But where is your confidence at? Where would you say you are at in life?
Maybe I could do that rather than just saying, yes, I can.
Basically, a cry for help.
We are more than just a landlord.
Sometimes it is just about creating an opportunity for people to realise their talent.
I've never worked in a good environment. I've just always been on edge.
Okay, is everyone comfortable and ready to get going? So, hello everyone, and welcome to the second Talent is Everywhere podcast from ourselves at Athena. Our first one was widely received with good feedback, so very much thanks to everyone for taking the time to view that and provide us with that feedback. And today we're actually with two other new guests in Natalie and Zaina, who I'll introduce in just a second, and we're going to be talking about the Kickstart Scheme. So, Natalie, would you just like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Natalie Bailey, and I've been the Kickstart lead at One Manchester. We've recruited 49 Kickstarters over the last 12 months, and the Kickstart schemes have been anyone under the age of 25 claiming universal credit, and One Manchester have really tried to recruit people that needed a bit more support, so people that were a bit further away from the labour market, and I believe we've done a really good job with that. We've got some really good talent out of the 49, with approximately 30 of them moving on into other roles at the end of the Kickstart scheme, including Zayna here, who's now a permanent member of our One Manchester team.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing. That is, Natalie. And Zaina, would you just like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Zayna. I was one of the Kickstarters that was given loads of support in job searching, getting ready for interviews, as well as CV support. And I was able to take that support and articulate those words into getting a customer service role with One Manchester.
Brilliant. So just for the sake of people who are kind of like tuning in, Zaina, would you just like to tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah, so realistically, I will start from high school experience. So I've been looking for a job from I was in high school. So by the time I got out of high school, I was making my own money. Wasn't really successful with that for the CV. I did learn the CV I learned in school, it wasn't productive or practical to get a job with. And then finally was able to get a job with at a customer service team. It was one of those customer service roles you don't really want to do. It wasn't really a customer service role. You was getting loads of calls about money management, debt, and he was basically just putting numbers on a board and yay by Friday for how many you got. So it was kind of like sales. It was one of those call centers you just wouldn't want to work with because it's not realistic.
Yeah.
And moving on, I was able to get a role with Manchester United. So it was a bit of money I was able to make. Wasn't something I ideally wanted, but at the end of the day, it was the income coming in, which was my own.
Is that because you're a City fan, Zaina, or is it?
I am a City fan at heart as well. So I didn't really want to be at Manchester United. If I was going to be at a football stadium, my first choice would have been Etihad, realistically. But I had to go over to Old Trafford because it's closer to home. And to be honest, I spent quite a few years at Manchester United as I was going through college. So it was part-time work and it worked with my timetable for college. And as I was growing up in college, I was doing different courses, wanted better things for myself. Couldn't really have that job. It was a 0-hour contract as well. So you're not really getting far with that unless they're actually offering more work, which wasn't being offered. I got the opportunity to look for a customer service role. Ended up getting a role at is it okay to mention company names?
Yeah.
Well, you already have.
They're the biggest ones I mentioned. But I did work at Converges. Terrible experience. You're constantly on edge and you're just scared and you want to get the sales, and you just was never settled. So I've never worked in a good environment. I've just always been on edge. So that's probably why I wasn't able to do as well as I wanted to do in life until I got to this moment in time. But speaking on those are roles where you can't really build yourself, you can't build your personality, you're constantly stressing about something, you're not really relaxing when you get home. It's not a work life to have, and I noticed quite a few adults were doing a lot of those roles and then going off to the next one and then going off to the next. And I was just thinking, when I grow up, I don't want to be that age at a job like that. I want something more certain. I want to feel secured. I want to make sure it's a proper job where I'm getting paid monthly and I'm not trying to meet targets. Because it just wasn't realistic, the jobs I was doing and watching other adults do it and then searching for a next role and then the next role. Because I've always seen my dad do different. He's always had a permanent role and been making good money. So that's somebody I've looked up to. And when I wasn't able to get those opportunities, I was looking at myself as to like, what's wrong? I've noticed in life I've had a lot of stressful jobs from my young age. It's probably why I'm getting grey hairs already. But literally, I've had a lot of
Can't
stressful
see any Zaina,
jobs.
so you're okay.
But literally, as I was just going down that downward slope, it plays with your mental health because you're looking at yourself, looking at jobs, you're thinking there's no opportunities out here, and it's just a downward slope you're going down. So I got to a point where I was just crying out for help. Ended up getting pregnant, having a baby. So I wasn't in work for 2 years as well. So that ended up me being on universal credit for 2 years. So whilst I was looking for a job, I thought universal credit would have been helping me, but it was more like, you just look for the job and you tell us what you're doing. But I was looking for a job, telling them what I was doing, but hoping to get help from them. So when I reached out to them again, basically a cry for help, that's when they finally introduced Kickstart to me. And I was applying for roles and saw a role that I thought, yeah, I could do. It was an admin assistant role. I didn't get the interview. It was unsuccessful. I understood the reasons why. And then nearly a month later, I got a call from Natalie offering me the role. I was quite shocked. I just completely thought you forgot about me, Natalie.
What was this role for then, Zaina? Was it the original administration role, or was it just an
Yeah.
additional administration role, or was it something slightly different?
Was it the original, Natalie?
Yeah, so she applied for facilities administrator, but
Yeah.
she was, someone did score higher than her and was offered the role. But
Yeah.
when I from the before Zayna come to interview, I interviewed Zayna with a colleague who was the manager of that department, and I could see a potential straight away. And I knew she was going places. I really believed in her. And customer service. If she was a stick of rock, that's what we'd say in the middle of her. She's
Oh,
absolutely
thank you.
fantastic with people. She's got such fantastic people skills, and
Thank you.
and you are really a great valued member of One Manchester.
So, Natalie, in terms of that, in the various roles, can you just give us a quick overview of the sorts of roles that One Manchester have offered under the Kickstart scheme? Just some rough titles of job roles.
So we've had 49. So we've had social media marketing, which are extremely popular.
Yeah.
We've had grounds maintenance, facilities, commercial leasehold, employability.
Oh.
Finance, account,
Triage.
yeah, customer service. There's so many. There's too many to mention, but we're really wide range of. We've had plumbing. So we've had some trades as well. So we really had. If there was something there for everybody, no matter what the skill set.
And I think that is something that I've noticed through the Athena Partnership. So Athena had the gateway, which created over 270 placements amongst all its members, which is absolutely fantastic. The wide variety of roles that young people could apply for has been absolutely fantastic, hasn't it? It's just, I believe, opened up people's eyes a little bit to the diverse roles that are available within the social housing sector within Greater Manchester. And so it's amazing to hear just how many roles One Manchester was able to create as part of this scheme.
What
Yeah,
I love about the opportunity is you would automatically think you'd have to go to uni for something like that, and not everybody is built for uni, and it's given so many people an opportunity they'd never actually get if they applied for it on their own.
Hmm. So, in terms of your time with One Manchester and that whole is it 6 month placement, isn't it, with the Kickstart scheme?
Well,
Um,
mine was kind of fast tracked. It's six
oh,
months originally, but I was in my fifth week, and I said to Natalie, I like the sound of the customer service role, and she said, "What you waiting for? Apply for it then, and tell me how it goes." And she got me some help with CV training before actually applying for this customer service role. So I basically done Kickstart, I'd say around 8 weeks, and then went over to customer services. So it's
wow.
not always 6 months, it's how long it takes you to get them skills and
I
apply.
think at the time Zayna didn't think she'd been here long enough to be
Yeah,
eligible to apply, but I encouraged her to go for it. You've got what's she got to lose apart from a competency-based interview? That if she goes
literally.
away learning something, that's all she had to lose. So I think she took that advice on board and give it her best shot.
Fantastic. And here you are today, as they say.
Literally with my badge.
That's fantastic. So, in terms of that 8 weeks, and Natalie saying there that you didn't feel as though you'd been there long enough, do you think there's something there, and it may be in your own story, but also in other people's, where people don't recognise the skills that they have, and it's almost a lot of people talk about it, they call it imposter syndrome, where they feel as though, oh, yeah, I haven't been here long enough. Why am I getting paid to do this job? Oh, I haven't got the skills. I don't know why I'm getting paid to do this job. Would you say that is something similar to what you had in terms of, oh, well, I'm not quite sure if I'm ready for this role?
Yeah, that is a big thing, realistically. I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of people don't really look into that. They tend to put themselves down, and that's what I did. I put myself down and talked myself out of actually applying for the role. I didn't give myself the confidence. I'd stripped myself from that basically, and it doesn't help. You're not helping yourself. What are you losing? When Natalie actually spoke to me, said, "What are you losing if you apply for the role? If you get the interview, you're going to gain experience. You're going to gain experience. You're going to learn something new. What are you losing? There's no, if you don't apply for the role, how will you ever actually know?" So once I heard those words, it made sense because I was literally stripping myself from the confidence anyway. So I thought, no, there's people been here like a month before me from the Kickstart role. They will have more of an opportunity than myself. They've probably learnt more. What I don't know what I've missed. So I just didn't have that confidence. So after speaking to Natalie, and she basically helped me get set up for CV training, interview training, well, more interview training, more CV training, I found that confidence and then applied for that role. So I think that is a big problem in the UK. A lot of us tend to talk ourselves out of things and talk ourselves down and belittle ourselves. And it shouldn't be the case. We should be lifting ourselves up.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, Zane. I think there's something from my own experience and just from work I've previously done, is that we don't shout about our positives and our attributes and our skills as much as others. And I usually use an analogy about people from America, because they're always, yeah, that's amazing, fantastic, that's woo, this is
Yeah,
all great stuff. And yet British people tend to be, it's very stereotypical, I appreciate that, we tend to be a bit more reserved and just say, oh, well, maybe I could do that, yes, maybe I could do that, rather than
yeah,
just saying, yes, I can. And I do believe that there's something there that just a change in mindset can help you immensely, just by having that belief that you can actually do the role that has been advertised and that you're applying for.
definitely. That it's that one step of confidence, that one positive word that will push people in the
Mhm.
correct direction.
So what do you think actually gave you that little bit of confidence to give you that nudge that you needed?
Well, to be honest, it was the first bit of confidence was when Natalie called me back, realistically. After a month, I thought I must have had some type of effect for her to call me back. It was that bit of confidence. That was the first step of confidence out of anything, realistically. And then it was me actually coming out of my shell, because I am realistically more reserved and I'll sit back and watch everybody. But then I thought, I'm going into a building, I don't really know anybody. Just say hi to everyone. Just introduce yourself to people. You don't know what stage they're at, what opportunity they could give you later down the life. So just say hi to everyone, take yourself out of that shell. And to be honest, that was the best thing I done. Once I basically came out of my shell, introduced myself to certain people, my manager I was working with at the time introduced me to loads of people in the office as well. Everyone was helpful, everyone was kind, and it was really positive. So I've had a really positive outcome with One Manchester. And realistically, even though I was quite down of not getting the role in the first place, it still gave me confidence to push, and I still had somebody working with me from One Manchester to push me, to help me build a new CV and even apply for like apprenticeships or any job roles that I think would suit myself. So I was still being given confidence. It was a bit of a knockback not getting the job, but then it just pushed me even more to not give up. So the
Yeah.
the first bit of confidence was when Natalie did call me back. That was the
Yeah.
first step.
Yeah, it can. I think it's that thing again about other people recognizing that
Yeah.
you have something. And obviously Natalie did do that and has already said that the first time that she met you, you know, you kind of, oh, I can see something now. I can see that Zaina has got some talent that we just need to explore. We just need to find the right fit for that. So would you say then that if other people are looking to take up opportunities, what would you say to those people in terms of if they're feeling a bit of lack of confidence in themselves, if they're feeling a bit of self-doubt, what would you suggest they do, or what would you suggest they look to actually help them improve their confidence a little bit?
So realistically, I do still like speak to quite a few people, because people reach out for me for like job search and help. Because I always constantly promote like the experience I've gone through. So I just constantly keep pushing them and telling them how great they are. Have you ever looked into doing something new? Have you thought about doing something new? If you're not happy with where you're at, or you're applying for a job in that role, but then you constantly keep getting rejected. Have you thought about something new? What do you like to do? But where is your confidence at? Where would you say you are at in life? And I just constantly talk to people about mental health as well,
Yeah,
because it is a big thing in applying for jobs.
yeah, yeah,
I also just like to add, what One Manchester did really well is that we offered peer to peer, so they all got together monthly just to talk about what they wanted to talk about. They had pastoral every month, so if they had any issues with the department they weren't very confident about, they had someone to go to in confidence and help them work through that. And we also had insight sessions, so they got
Yeah.
to learn a lot about the organisation. We are more than just a landlord, and we want to showcase that to all our new starters. And we had social events as well.
Yeah.
So Zaina attended one of the social events, and it's a really good way. What I wanted people to make friendships and have a
Yeah.
really good experience, and I think One
I
Manchester did
made
that
friends.
really well.
Yeah, I made friends from that social experience. And to be honest, it kind it was nice to see people face to face and not over a screen, and actually introduce myself, work out people's personalities, because I'd noticed over the screen people would be more reserved and not say much, but when you actually spoke to them face to face, they'd ramble away and you'd get to know them properly. So I just preferred a social setting.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it is something I think we all recognise, isn't it? Is although that technology, things like Teams and Zoom and all the rest of those virtual meeting platforms have given us access to continue our work, we're social animals, aren't we? So we all like just to have that chat. And I love a good water cooler chat. I love talking about kind of like how I saw a squirrel dance across my fence line for the weekend and kind of like do something silly, or you
Yeah.
know, just those little incidences that kind of like occur throughout life and we just share with one another. But that's who we are as people, isn't it?
We need to be around people, and it's encouraging that as well, because since COVID times, everyone's more reserved, wants to stay at home, and even still, at times, not everybody's coming to the office because they're so used to being in their own climate. Sometimes I'm in the office and I think, oh, I feel to go home. See you later. Gonna go home. That's when I feel a bit antisocial. But when I am social, I come into the office.
Great to hear. So, Natalie, just to provide a bit of a wider perspective on things, what other employment support do One Manchester offer to people?
All right, so we have job clubs throughout central Manchester that people can attend, and we can help you with CV writing, interview techniques, job search. I'm currently now the work placement and volunteer lead, so we have lots of volunteering opportunities. We have lots of work placements open to anyone at any age. We have enterprise, so if anyone's looking at going to self-employment, we can support them with that. And we just generally, if anybody wants to move forward, get in touch. We are here to support you.
Yeah, and how do they get in touch? Best way to do that, is that on the website?
If you go into the website, yeah, all the details are there. We call the Employment and Skills team.
Brilliant. So just to wrap things up, before I say thank you to you both, because you've both been absolutely amazing, and it's been absolutely fantastic, Zaina, to hear your experience and your story. And I say it time and time again that talent is everywhere, but opportunity isn't. And it seems as though the Kickstart placement at One Manchester has given you that opportunity to actually realise your talent. But is there just one last thing you would like to share with people that we're just thinking about, actually, do I go for an opportunity or do I not? And what would you like to, was one last piece of advice you'd like to give them?
Go for the opportunity. There is nothing to lose. There is always something to gain. That's the main thing. And realistically, I'm a religious person, so I went through this situation with God by my side. So if you are religious, get into your religion.
That's great, Zaina. And Natalie, have you got any advice for people who are in a similar situation, and you can just give them a piece of advice on how to move forwards?
Yeah, just whatever your skill set is, whatever support you need, just get in contact. We are here to support. We really want to make a difference to our communities, so please don't hesitate to get in touch.
Brilliant. Some great piece of advice there from both Zaina and Natalie, and thanks once again for sharing with us and everyone who's going to tune in. Can't write your story, Zaina. It's really I always find it. Yeah, well, I always find it amazing that, and it's a reason why I keep saying the same phrase over and over again, is that sometimes it is just about creating an opportunity for people to realise their talent. And what you're saying there about people just believing in themselves, I think happens, far too often, is that we do ourselves down sometimes without actually realising what we could potentially achieve.
Thank you for tuning in to the Talent is Everywhere podcast from Manchester Athena. If you've been inspired by any of the topics that have been discussed today, have a look in our description where you'll find all the relative links to get support and get access to the information and learn more about what Manchester Athena does. We've really enjoyed doing this podcast, and we look forward to seeing you again next time.